Chapter 5, An Obscure Revelation. Time flowed by in the rhythmic cadence of Paris, and the pursuit of the elusive masked prisoner became a faint memory, overshadowed by the ebb and flow of daily life. Edmond and Villefort were once again immersed in the routines of their chosen paths, navigating the labyrinthine streets of the city with the same dedication that had brought them together. Time passed in a blur of cases, investigations, and the ever-changing tapestry of Parisian society. The legends that had once captivated their imaginations gradually receded into the background, replaced by the demands of their respective careers. But even as the city's vibrant pulse drowned out the whispers of mysteries, a bond of friendship and esteem grew stronger between Edmond and Villefort. Then came the day when Villefort's retirement loomed on the horizon. He decided to mark this momentous occasion with a party, a gathering of friends and colleagues who had shared in his journey through the labyrinth of the city's secrets. Naturally, Edmond, now a cherished friend, received an invitation to this celebratory event. The party unfolded with laughter, reminiscences, and the clinking of glasses, a joyous farewell to a distinguished career. But as the evening waned, Villefort found a moment to approach Edmond, his eyes twinkling with a mixture of amusement and curiosity. "Are you still determined to reveal the identity of the legendary masked prisoner?" Villefort inquired, the question cutting through the festive atmosphere. Edmond, surprised by the sudden turn of the conversation, met Villefort's gaze with a look of intrigue. "Why do you ask?" he replied. "Have you made any progress in the meantime?" Villefort shook his head, his expression betraying a knowing smile. "No," he admitted. "But I knew from the beginning who he was. Or rather, from the day we descended into the catacombs." Edmond's curiosity flared, and he leaned in, captivated by the revelation. In the midst of the party, amidst the cheers and the music, the two detectives found themselves drawn back into the enigmatic world of the masked prisoner. It seemed that the legends of Paris, though momentarily eclipsed by the passage of time, were never truly forgotten. In a hushed tone, Villefort confirmed, the legendary masked prisoner was the second one, the one who never spoke. Edmond's eyes widened in surprise, and he interjected with a hint of skepticism, but he was too old. How could he possibly be the masked prisoner? Villefort leaned in, his gaze penetrating, as if beckoning Edmond to see beyond the surface. No, he looked old because almost 5 decades spent in darkness, in solitary confinement, and surrounded by heartbreaking and desperate screams have that effect on a person, Villefort explained. A lifetime in such conditions takes a toll, even on the strongest of souls. He did not speak, not because he couldn't, but because he had forgotten. He simply removed who he was, perhaps because it was precisely his identity that had become an unbearable burden, one he could do nothing about. Edmond absorbed Villefort's words, the pieces of the puzzle slowly falling into place. He had to know more, to understand how Villefort had arrived at this revelation. "But how did you come to realize this?" Edmond asked. Villefort nodded knowingly, recounting the telltale signs that had unlocked the truth. "Did you notice the rag he was wearing? It was old, smelly, and fit him too small. Yet, it was a cloth of high tailoring, of fine quality at least originally, as befits a king. I recognized that fabric, and he must have worn that shirt the day he was brought there. It was certainly not something a poor person could afford." Edmond's curiosity deepened, and he posed another question. But why didn't he wear a mask? The testimonies over the decades about the legendary masked prisoner clearly reported a mask. Villefort smiled knowingly, revealing the final piece of the puzzle. "I am sure he wore it in the past," he explained, "but in the meantime, it had been replaced by a different, no less effective mask, that of time." The years and solitude transformed him into a living legend, a ghostly figure wrapped in the shadows of the catacombs. His true identity was erased, leaving only the lingering echoes of a man who had been stripped of everything except his enduring presence in the annals of Parisian folklore. Probably the guards at the time, out of pity for him, or perhaps even just out of curiosity, removed the mask. Villefort continued, his voice laden with solemnity. Since no one recognized the person behind the mask, nor was he now able to reveal his identity to anyone, they left him like that. Edmond leaned in, hanging on every word. Villefort's revelation was as astonishing as it was poignant. But when I moved the hair from his face, Villefort revealed, I clearly recognized the features of the royal family. The same eyes, the same august look, in spite of everything. The revelation hung in the air, a truth unveiled after decades of obscurity. Villefort fell silent, allowing Edmond to absorb the profound implications of the discovery. He could see the stunned expression in Edmond's eyes, and it was clear that the weight of this knowledge was now shared. Villefort finally broke the silence, his voice tinged with a sense of resignation and compassion. I leave it up to you whether or not to reveal his identity, he told Edmond. Of course, you will have to prove it, and it will be very difficult. Besides, even if that prisoner is not as old as he looks, he will never get his life back. Nor will he have a different life. By now, his existence is marked, assuming it has not already ended in the meantime. Edmond grappled with the moral and ethical dilemmas posed by this revelation. The legendary masked prisoner's identity was no longer shrouded in mystery, but revealing the truth was fraught with complexities and challenges. The weight of the secret bore down on Edmond's shoulders as he contemplated the fate of the man who had spent a lifetime in confinement. In the end, Edmond made a decision, one that was rooted in the lessons he had learned during his time working alongside Villefort. He realized that mid-19th century Paris was a place filled not only with legends, but with people in need of truth and justice. Some sought comfort and support, while others endured lives of waiting and longing. Villefort had exemplified this compassion and dedication, and Edmond chose to follow that example. The masked prisoner's identity remained locked away, a secret forever shared between Edmond and Villefort. The legacy of the masked prisoner would forever remain a testament to the enigmatic depths of 19th century Paris.